ḵusteeyí yahaayí shukát Johan. Wasaach tuasagu. ʼaduwóosʼ. Ya seqanan gallisaku. Sheikh yati kutaswan qanins yutuasak. Ya tatsif yashkuyil qidach yidulitsin. Ya shtakat adatki tlach atxsati. Ye awa achawe adataya yuqatulla atk yachatlako yagi tlatsina. Chakawe atlen shukát ʼu yatki. Hastu hiti yidachawe hasawasatl. Aqawe tlushkei shkun ayikaya hasawachich. Wasashkei atawe yug. Ya tleshya khana. Iti aqqa tlehyagig. Iti sandikh achtuasagu adat wushuk atutli atk wuchin. Yiguaya Juan Johan, Khosaku wan qanins yanik, tlach yanik, nik tlain awa adaye yeti. Wasa haka kaudahaye chak qahalil kuhas. Ya yidit qoa kenal sina we hayuqatangi. Ha iti yanach awe yashayandahin. Qaachtuyi ke awe adat. Ye awe tsuhatu wasaku. Wan qanins hayatki. Chaslingit inach aya hastu inu qagachtutla at. Qa uhansu. Gwal wush yegachtus teen achtu wasaku chaslingit inach aya kagachtu aq. Khosaku yan tlushik nik COVID yuduasaku at. Ya wan qanins hiti hayejini wa utek. Chaana we ushkanakachtuta at. Wasa achtu wasaku. Chaguk saya yegaqati qolyug. Aqa awe wananisa we chagut yalingit. Ani adigachtu qugh. Aqa awe sakutin yegachtu shih aya hayuqatangi. Ye awa immersion yuduasak ayatlet khaq inach uhan qahe khosaku hayuqatangi tade aya atgachtu at. Ye awe achtu wasaku. Ya yagi Khusteeyí aya quyaw dahaye ḳusteeyí Kaxwaan Éesh teen. Kundihin sa awe du neili atikhuqchin. Iqanakhwe du iqahat ulatish. Qal yata awe Khusteeyí aya achtu yanik. Chaan awe du jidach awe latsin achtu yeti. Gwall awas kuun aya data tinach sa hayati. Qal atlen yandashani ha atwas kuhu. Ha shuka has. Achawe wan qanins achtu wasaku hastu qeitaya gachtu sa ahi. Ye awe hastu qeit aya tlingitchtu gachtu tu. Wan qanins we hayuqatang shakuni o adat yuqatutla at. Lidzi. Ya hatun datani awe kautlihits aya aqaywutin. Wan qanins qawa atina khanna teach. Wan qanins qawa we tletqayu qatangi jagahtinaq. Yewe achtuwati shtakat Johan. Aqa awe tlal keguhlidzi yuqatankaya atqahtulayehi. Nakallana we khasatin yatita. Wujina yak oututla atk. Klitsa wentina achtuwasaku. Luksa tina ate. ويتسينا تلاوسكو خط խուստեeyí. يا ناكتلانا وخاستين تلنجت خينا خايا وشو قاوتولات هقاق ايقا اكشي جن كاتكناس قدوشو تاكشو وهيخن ست ايتقيي ايا اقي هاوتين يا هايو قتنجيدا جاك كوني نخسا ويخ ويلنجت خينا خيو قتلاتكي هاين خوستي جت ديخ دخنخ ويخ أتلينا هنقص وآد هنقص كودك إيد وانقنين زيوهان تلتزي تلخت تلتزي أجوي تلها إين خاص وستي يسكو قنا خوي هجيخ خوي هسكاوي تشك أتوسكو يقسكي دكيدة أتودخ أيا دي هسشو وطان أيا هيدي هاجيس يا هستوجي يسايا كاكاختو أقون كنينز تسلنجت خينخ يا أول قنخوي أختو وسكو تكت يوهان ييك أخاهين تخواسا ييك أخاهين يكاخكي تلاقا يا هايو قتنكي هخوسكو قتكسا كل كي جن تاك كل جن كاتاك شك وهيخ أداتا يا يوقا قختو تلاقان ها أكاداك كيس إسيوا ها وقاو قنخوي أتينا خاوتين تلقايو قتنكي قايدة قوة تفتينا خاوتي يكي أتقوى جا هجشكوني أيا تلقايو قتنكي يا أوا أختوسكو قش يا خانا يا أختوسكو تسو وجين شكاكتو تلنيك وأت يهاي تين داسا كوتو شخيت أي إتخا قش كاخوان إيش تخيتي كختو ساخ قش يا خانا تلتين نخاوتي تلقايو قتنكي هخوسكو قش كيوي قش تايك يا سيقنن أختوسكو يسكو وساد كقونياق أقوان آني كق وش كنخوي قختو دات حات تسينا تلشيا شاقوشكي تسينا كتايا قلتتي يسكو خد قلتتي رومبا أتينا خدتياق قلتس كشوكا قوك كشوكا أتنكو يا سيقنن شيق يخيتيك وتسي أيسايا يتايا أختوسكو يتو يا هستو يجني أوه Gold Belt Heritage, Gold Belt, Hatuch Juno Montessori Schoon, Tlingit Kadekina, Sea Alaska, UAS. Wait utat aya wish kanach gachtu da art, inach hasak art, we chukan ani adat away. Chukan ani you do saga at away one kanins gach adutlun, we yes away gach atlun kat awak you. Kijin gacha ashu anachya andaganye akaya wish kanach gachtu da art. Yuch agachtu la art awe adat wasa atwune yuch. Chak awe llingit ani ḳusteeyí. Acho atleid qach awe hasti hiti has ach hasakawakan. Hasakausakanaya hastuhitki. Witleinach awe haing sati. Duhitiowe ausatin akawakan. Kausakaniowe. Haidekakwani kadan. Gwalli sakuwe shkun. Kutzati yuk. Yayidat Montessori shkun. Chak owe koa. Klein klingit yetki. Ishan den yu has kautlashu yuk. We ḳu'atlatu. Ayidegach to art. We hit. Adataye yu kakach to tla art. Uchine kakach to gank. Wasaha to wasaku ayakone. Yahana nech. Wait adach. Wegao. Hasakawa ak. Has shuwlixeexí. Wait altakat yatlingit. ḳusteeyí dasaye as in the kichagi dat. Ha. Ina. Ni ewe gwalli to wasaku ayiti. Adenay Tella to ashku we tuchki ni hadaye yati. Achawe akadik yikach to u. Ha tell kunach wush to wank. Yaslikatu han. Gwalli to wasaku yisatini. Ya. Wasa what to asayata. Ya kuku. Kukya hekasaku. Yata atut. Ya Alaska Native Sisterhood Camp Deich. Hastu kuku aya akayeka kwatiwa koyaw dahayi. Tesla atinech itiwe Facebook account. Tesla ayi haskuk wataw walkiwe. Ye awe. Ka aktuasaku yisaku. Ya intermediate klingit kuku kashukuku akaye yati yata. Takata takahi yati. Ya mujini khagach tutla art. Katu nagu adat. Ka aktuasaku yisaku. Oh, yahaayí kuku kanchish. Gwalli to asagu yisaku adat. Yadu we wanachsawe. Sheikh eti kutatsiyagi. Wasa atwune. Shushiki skoon yik chak. Hechwasaku wasa dosaku at. Kelches yaduaxeyi skoon. Ayaduaxeyi skoon. Like. Gwall shukát ʼaduwóosʼ. Shuwlixeexí. Ye ewa. Ye kwati ka shachasatin da sakaishikit. Ka gwalli tuasagu yata yisatini tsu. Yang tuasagu yisaku kutsati. Gwalla atinech yati it dishi. Yang aya. Kella tua ashku shwdjaki. Kella tua ashku katu kudachawe wuniku. Ajoyata kutsati tsu. Akanakaya gachtu art. Anakaya gachtu artsu. Wenik klein. Katu wuniku aya. Tlachzidzi at. Kella ayich ustikoa. Dasa we chago kaku owe hasakawa akaji hasawati. Kella tua ashku. Chagachtu nak. Ya kaya achtua suku yisuku kutsati. Guksakwa. Kiatua. Kia tlingit.com, quinkitlanguage.com. Kayate intermediate tlingit akachaya kachshahit yaltakatat tatke. Facebook live stream kadasa resources adasa. Hasta GA wikino. Yish qeidi sa akhi. Kaltartu ashkut leil qayu khatangi det qoa. Kagartu aq tlingit qenach. Gwallito asagu yuqiyatani. With tlell ushkeish gun qoa. Adat achtu asagu kaishahit yuqatangi. Tlell a iti asandik ak tlekigi. Wuj in shkanach tulnik. Gwallito asagu qoa yuqiyatani yaidat gug.
Inskeskuni dat yutucha tangyai dat ka shtakat yogi achwe konach self-care itinach hatyati shtakat yogi gan adchagut ja zitat so ka gan adchagut owa just a clear go has the daddy do khatang yeah away would in you kagach to ga would in can get you khatangish to gonna cheese ha in kainiki you khatangi
Okay. And cheese. Yeah, well, that tinnersayieti. Gwall an kakaya. With atki kakaya at the adi kunachayake. Chosatin yat utat gwall shukwa Kaxwaan Éesh dat utuchtatan. Gwall stekatwa ye saya chosatin ye saya kone tak de yakone heni. We Kaxwaan would the a itcha knachoe a yanach a iti yanach klenukts tsikshatlin Kaxweech. Gwalcha atchai aya kukki good. We tlatki aya hanaguch sati atut. A joy knach yik ewe. It tlatki ka atchai ewe watuacha. Tek kadasa. Gwall atlun knachoe yik e. Itlatki ka aya atu ati ka wujin yuqagachtu tla atlin gitrinach. Yik Kelly satin wasa achatleich achtuasa gutsina aya akawakani. Yahaayí kalneek geiju. Ich masa o te gwell llellaji. Ni tu agesigu Kaxwaan Éesh duchit gachtu sa achi.
was ach eat ǩu'oo
Cheesh.
ach kalneek Isatinge? Just with Ina. Sunday shuwlixeexí a chuch yahaayí a skíte has ʼaduwóosʼ. Ḥusteeyí you do a sock. Kiki ḳu.oo you do a sock. ḥusteeyí you do a sock. A chuch Kaxwaan Éesh you do a sock. You shaw kalneek away you do a sock. Okay. Deslin I Dianach has wukko yet. Sagadi hini ade has atluni yeah. Ka yuk has do on et has shlier. Plak yek we. Deslin I kudach jum sitan. Ja, yek sagenki yak completed. We tit plank. We gaat ye yawaka. Das a de kik. Ja gaat ye yawaka. Kasi ye ka we. Juwane. Tak yagi ega ayamdati. Uchja plain kudach litzin. Ya yit disku today ya akunas dut. Ya yit chada sa tis ade ḳu'ao ya. Ushke. Ayamdati ka late talk usitan ka sim dark usitan. Yaka ye yawaka. Ikwani wudi tlak. Khatsu ikuslichan. We ka owe ye yawaka. Gustu we giwa. Achu wulits is. Ta'in kadzisku plain do on iti kanach wu good. Do the segu has our ach. Achuch achuch ye yawaka I forget how to say it. Shisade kunanugu ye. Iskada dasawe who's a que. We cog disco. Ye yawaka. Gusu we shich disco. Ḳua'ach chat wu iki adayu to a tank. Ye called Zisco. Bosun. llwyeich du ceidli owe chosetin. Chili greens tin ḳusteeyí hastugis. Bosen ʼaduwóosʼ. Shukát ʼaduwóosʼ. Ega du gwatli yehuti. Wegao klish has ayuwad bak. Klish masa ute ḳu'o. Yatauk chasku ka gwains gachtucha. Ka chitli tsu. Cleok tsu. Atlein cleok kwa in yahaayís. Huchawe. Ish in sa'ahi.
Kalneek okay, finish cheese clean.
Cheese.
Well, kanins kate quatly, I kalneek to ya ḳusteeyí kalneek awsanigo at. Ik eet gesnik, ja.
Cheese.
You're doing kidding away, katushxeedi with disk. Ako ʼaduwóosʼ asachan with disko.
We shich zisku du tuasigu ega.
Jesk oe has du shatqa has kullagao qadzisko. An qanin saya watua ach ya as aya agit aya yes ausane ashidi. Okay, ya qa taldutin. Quwqan oe watusatin. Taydihin aya atlain aya ade watu qukh. Ye awa hatawasagu qa iqallatu klingit yug yanchukak aya ye hawuti. Hain hasakawani guksawe yanchuka ade watu qukh witatsu. Chikay aya yanchukat watu qukh. Khasatin zisk hasawe awajak. We gweil klein atu daya with ziskutli. Ye awa dachwas ashi adach. We gan aya akaye wuti. We ʼaduwóosʼ ʼaduwóosʼ at. We ʼaduwóosʼ at tsu. Akawe dutsik aya qunach ziskutayi. Ye awa khat haskat yawsaqa yak satini. Ito agasagu ziskutayi. Khaqa atlach qunach achtawasagu. Eetski qal. Wasa aqe wuke. Shkalniki ide kakwanikuta. Shakan waitina. Ye awa yadzisk. Kwaltech yigishu wikik aya adakhawe ya has awachaqi. Aqa awe khan hasakawanik. A four-wheeler akakhay at watu qukh zisk qa watu alun. Ya yun chuka. Qaji yis aya. Ye awe watu satin. Kwaltech kai aya ye awe yakunashe we four-wheeler adakh. Ade watu aat. Ye awe watu un. Adati tu tan qoa just wega. Klia tat kleinach we aluni. Ye awe adat awa June. dullil kohas. Dullil kohas qonnaxawi has di tuasa gwech. Zisk nasi qonnaxawi has di qiyake. Ya ziskawi hasawa chaq. Four-wheeler atina khayati. Qochte haswuta a. Qolte khaik anakh aya haswu a. Aqawi zisk ade qokhwuta qokh. Qoneyawi adati jiwane. Stakatwa yikati adakhawi hasawa khash. Khail aq yidu asago atkwal ye awek adu khaqwal khat. Akhat se waqaq kwal we zisk ayikati adakhawi awdu khashi. Adata ye has jiwane qa'a. Qanakhawi hasaw shukuk. Ateigh stakat at adakh. Kasi ye at qa'a. Kesh aye uti. Anasi. Wasa. Yaltakat we dakhta sego at anasi qudzati ayikt. Anaksawi kek ayati. Kainakha e awaqa. Tliyatke yatat away. Akhil ko hasadat akhwajun. Qanakhawi has to qewukeyin aya zisk nasi. Wal has to jiyisaya ajawe kashya qeyati. Ye away hatundatani wan qaninsa. Hashil ko hashagun. Dasa has to tawasagu has to jidegach tuti. Wal kashwa tusaku de has to ji utuati. Guso ach unai ya tsina aya kakwa Malwaitina au saku a atina khateti exercise. Guk atnagu. Just is qayiq ya. Yake. Tsukke shkashnik. Wasa ya na eat.
Gwash Wanganeen's Mad Libs Shinket Henachyati. But for now, Yidat. Let me see if I can get this. Okay. Ach shkalnik I. Wait, Gwachli at Katku Kadu Yatai Dush Neshte Awagut. Kasi yeyi te train nach has shuwaguk. Chayuk kustin. I gotta hide this. Okay, sorry. I can't even read it. Where's my thing? Chayuk kustin siu dakusitan. Kunach has woodlitlak. Ishan has woodlitlak ka has sewat. No. Hagu tlak. Zisk tahini hwasei dutla ye yawaka. Ziagin dutu auflit a. Huch awe.
Echa. Masach tu yake hawakshi is ni ishkashnik qawe yahaayí. Okay.
Gunashchish.
Hansu ye tuaji qanakhawi yatai awa hadushi. Kijk dus yant aya du dachawu. Qanakhawi du dachaw qatzati. Wan qanin zaya wa tu shata huski dush aya. Kashkaden utisaku wan qanin. Ya tatke awa athagut ya akhketlitin. Is cake aya kijk adu kataku. Adatawe yutachwatang cake. Kundahin sawachak achgate daya kakwakud. Kaidihin again, yakutski cake. Ayanachaya, shakushki cake. Kayat atsu, hechwasaku one kanins. Hechwasaku one nachsawe hastituasaku. Ya, husky kunachawe atuasaku. We noosh, yisiku gate asawe noosh.
Like,
Yes, aya. Atlein khat. Haswuna. Aka awe yuk aya. Kone aya has aguchlechan. Ya kunachawe ya tltekat with atke akade. Haskagwasla. Noosh, you do a sago at Hankanins Kadachawe lechan. Khasakhan aya, Tachonachawe Hasakhan Michat. Yisikukoa. Yahaayí kak yes one kanins. Kanachawe noosh. Which is a nick. Kate, Kanachawe has to toasaku akaye wuti yag kayag. Husky, Takonach, what is a teen way husky? Just yad hechasago asadu sago. I just has to sa. Kanachawe yan shutakik. Altakat ye de aya has shutakwat. Ya Kate lechasatin wait ayach aya shutakik. Ha. Tachanach kegurchan. Ya tatke awa ye wuti. Dachtehin. Just what cajun ye gi away. Shuwlixeexí and ya tlay. We yiska aya ye ausani. Kunachawe ʼaduwóosʼ the katu diet. One kanins kate katush tachanach tlechas to toashko. Would do shoot you ye akade. Ye dusnugu. Ye awa kunach. Tlech tools on awe a day. Ḳusteeyí ye. Tlech toashko to ye isani. Yes the kata the kaxu. Kaidihin aya. Ja'an away wullachan. Dachtehin ja'an wullachan. Adat khwatu. Data tinech sachat yeti. Ye kate tlech kegurchlachani. Oh, yata kana aqwe hydrogen peroxide, ka baking soda, ka dish soap, ka ye awe kasa ye at khwlleech naqts ati yacheti. Aqawet tag aya tag khaus aya akete. Ye awe tuchtatan. Ye datawe gwash ausaku we kate. Tlaik tatke khana tsu ye ausane. Oh, tlech ushke sa awe. Watu sa we kate la kach. Tlechi ideka konig da dersa. Tu awe ḳaxwaan tatke. Gwash ausaku ye dat tlet ʼaduwóosʼ go tsu ye yisani. He chwasaku. Gans cheese. Cheta tine khateti. Gwash just kakwachak atlen kucheta kakwakich ade. Ya ite tasa ite wasagu. Dag unjen kat winet uyachtzuk. Shkatnike ke yiji ye yiti. Gwash ite wasagu Kaxwaan Éesh katangi. Gwash ite wasagu we just jin kat winet uyach akat kled kak en achil wasaka kwati. Gwash ye kagachtu ak yachana. Achtu wasagu yagachtu glaki. Wasa itu uji datwa.
Achneeli would a tlach a joy kunach wullitshaniwe nearly. Ḳusteeyí that baking soda, hydrogen peroxide, bleach to punnach ḳusteeyí away nearly do nearly that.
One conins connechawe kusana away you do sago at got haani dat. Yeah, we do Hini, we do Shaw. Chatlakawe hakina yin teach goose. Hakakaya siudakus tunch. Actually, one conins hahiti ye sena. Kusana you do a sago at kakina humid. Ye away with the clachi away one conins hahiti ye. Tuch yacheti one conins unique away kajich away ati we tlach joy тлаhlatuo'osh tlidzi dacha achjiu we dehumidifier we kusanai dachiosini at ye away kahiti yi wuhuku well you away yeah, well, tlachtuoshku. Ya chaguta ha hiti. Ya kleedihin we khawaqi khasitsa yi adach yersene. Khasatin de katwe khawaqi kaye wuti tlach. Ha ishan tlachtuoshku. Hast du we hast du kegu atu yeti awa achyetki. Atwe khatsuke dena ya kaxwaak. Āduwóosʼ. Das hat Wagi.
Jinkat Hundat Ikaliasi. Jinkat Hundat gay?
Yeah, away. Yeah, Archikawach. Yeah.
Yeah. Ikaliasi.
Das Uskizina Āduwóosʼ. Just kleiner Khatgeti. Ja, Ghana. One can instacht nach Auhan. Rakete Tina Khateti. Kaach itas would the shiwits inati. It was a. Okay. What chay igugingi wish kalneek Kaxwaan Éesh gedach. Kanachawe adat you tachotang. Kontaksawe hanakugud. Gwell Cajun talk away. Gwell da talk. Helgadin chasaku. Ye awa. Wasa achtu yak du ina yejachwanean. Tatke awa khatka we hagyukatangi kudi yejane. Dushkalnik idat yejutune. Yashkalnik ḳusteeyí aya. Qut liqati shawat you do a sago at Kaxwaan Éesh shakshani has a kawanik like kayu katangi dacha kashin gitrinach. One kanins qa'a just to hit the day aya khochen. Ye awa an katushxeedi at ye awa yakawaju. One kanins ʼaduwóosʼ. Yito agessigush kalnika we ha inchkaitlani. One kanins ina kawanik. Dasawe kelkadain wudu achaya yudat ya lingit reinach. Yata helte katat khwalatin. He khwasagu khun when it's away gachtutlatin. Gwalchin kat aqatlaye khatgakwati atatu gaghtutla at. Gwalriashkalnik llawak adach. He khwasaku. Just gwalt aslingit reinach aya. yahaayí yisatini qay yahaayí yaqanahawe awtlatú llingit yaqanahawe llatsin ʼaduwóosʼ awati qa ʼaduwóosʼ du inie jahwaneyan yaduha kalden kaxshehet du sai yatakach
Ayati attein qathini ayik we ka Sakai string akaha adaqonas gas itwasa guin katqallani sawakta katal shqatayikta atkawa katushxtanin chak shqatayikta atk daqaqase utzika awak qallah yuwe yaqeiknach takqa awat tai go duhai ittahawa tashudiqunal gats shqatayikta atk tasastji shutliqas awa hasakachaknach attude Marik sawallaqask qaach yalluulleet tushuknach takatat yakiyiqatsiti takatat yakiyi akhqoha akshedleit qaashe saagnach a season niqatsiti takatat ayissawatla shuudiqunal kasr sak laqask qaach taasa qaajishut qas qoakaan tushuknach yalluulleet tushuknach yaaqaw aqqohaawe uqaat awadeikh family sawa shuudewt ulliqaaswe devilfish beedo asaaguya aat tutliqaas tulxiilnch aadayu qatutanknachia wenaaq atqul'ain waaka tlayaqaatini takhyantatsuunokawa haawat weqillqsiti artequu atayakawa atayitqul'ain hastu atqaan hitqitlayaqshayaw llihik waqaat qawayeeq so kaan agiqshayaw dawatiyaanakhuk aqaawan naquuq tlayuoke astawdishat wataqnaqati qaaq awa yis qaatsayaaqas aw siku tassuin awa llawaqinaada awasuuquuq taa llun assewa as aw siku taa aada llun jawa llawaqteen Atatahaayaki awatahas ayaw di kuch. Stukahas o di ti. Ḳusteeyahas katakuchawa. Wasikawa hayadawas tukedia anas kuk. Khata it atki yahas tatuayati.
Well, just Cajun minutes, Yachana. You are that you took the ton. Chutlewe, Tina, so away, yan yaw hits. Oh, that's a cool. Wasa adati jigachtune. Achtuasagu, we Cajun minutes chanach. Kaxwsteeyí, the cut with Lingit. Achtuasagu a kainigi, like Kaxenach. A kawuchin aya, a datu kagachutla a. Gwall. Ceir Sunday ach anach ikekshe. We ha yejini kuku a kade kakwati. We a katushxeexí at guksa we kuyaw yahaayí. Gwall ilan itawasagu. Kakwallayech yijiyis. Datatinachsa ieti jachan kananig. I it katushxeedi. Gwall Kay kayu katangige yayidat.
Katsuach comic ḳusteeyí ḳu.oo. Bitwasagu gay is teeny.
Ah.
Wedu ach at yahaayí ach tzat dat. Baby ayach sai. On ganins baba kabu yuchat ʼaduwóosʼ. Maui ayach sai. Nilato radu tzat iya. ʼaduwóosʼ. Ya duchat. Das je da ine. Heltasa. Ikaga. Ikawa. Heltasa ye da khone. Kotsu. Goed, cheese.
Okay. Okay, wait, at is sneaky gonna cheese. Okay.
Hey.
Gonna cheese, Johan. Gonna cheese. Gwall, ituasagu tu yitlayechi, gug. Gwall, kellu tu satina yahaayí. Achtuasagu kay ako. Jawan kanin. Jakwat kasa ay tawasagu hawakshige yesaneqa kakwati. Yewe yake awe kagahta akawe hayuqatangi atxtullayeqi. Yake. Gwall. Ḳusteeyí agahtullqin yahaayí jini yachana. Kekaq enachaya helwasa kakwati. Ya achtuasagu yisaku. Datirsa achtuasagu yejini. Wish kalneek dat Kaxwaan Éesh edach. Kagahyi akaya Kaxwsteeyí. We dasa owe yuqiwatan. Kalneek. Kanachawe yake at katunigi. Kaxwsteeyí Kaxwsteeyí. Klinkit enach. Okay. What tlekawin at sa jiu? At we het wasak kwati tlekar yu katangi. Gunchish. Kadinya yitlaqi aya yakhana. Jatlingit krinach. Wasak tu yikedat. Koshlich und der Ginsa. It's ina tlelachitu teshi. Okay, so let's reflect on our work for the evening. And English is okay. I guess we'll just say any thoughts or questions about stuff that happened. It seemed like an awful long time, but then I looked up and it was only 6:30. I was like, must have been in myth time. Yeah, lights go out, I could speak English. That works. Someone just sent me a message about it. Yeah, great work, everybody. Everybody's talking, lots of contributions. And I think we're just going to keep trying that. Just try and stay in Tlingit for as much as the class as possible. We'll bounce out and do grammar stuff. But I think I was saying earlier this evening that I think we got to talk about how the parts of the language. But I also think we get ourselves scrambled when we do that. It just happens. So then we straighten ourselves out with Tlingit. Our language is like that river that untangles a person's mind. Yeah, with Guk Kuch Hatuasagu Tusatini. Kaxwaan Éesh. Oh, okay. Yeah, and if you have stuff you haven't shared yet from previous stuff, go ahead.
Did everybody see okay? It's super silly, but since it was mentioned yesterday that maybe you wanted to see that with the soundtrack, here it goes. This is based on a true story, by the way, between me as a frog and a clean AD person that's a friend of mine.
I'm Kihash.
Tá shukát kikukuchiesu ʼaduwóosʼ.
Aha. At yahaayí.
Clegg at ʼaduwóosʼ lianaka. 75 miles per gallon. Shot de ade kikuku. Clock de yahaayí. Pesisi clegg gugatá. Quas ukuk yesu.
Quas ʼaduwóosʼ.
That's it.
Tlachonach Gulchish.
Goodness, sheesh.
That's the one with the soundtrack that you asked for.
Sheesh, you ḳusteeyí.
Geez.
There's this thing that I think people in radio use. It's called like a daisy chain. I'll have to figure out how to do it so that as soon as you talk, the music just goes down a little bit, but it doesn't feel like it goes down a whole lot. But
I wanted to do that. I was having trouble with it.
right, that's fantastic. ʼaduwóosʼ.
Thank you. Maybe I can do it a series for the class because there's a lot of stories like that from Kaxwaan Drift.
Kaxwaan Éesh ḳusteeyí. Okay. ʼaduwóosʼ ḳusteeyí. Goodness, sheesh. Anybody else have anything they wanted to share from this exercise or previous exercises?
Did you see my video? You want to see my video?
I'll see after a little
Happy side over. Oh, you can. Everybody can hear me talking on there.
Busted.
My bad, busted. I was just telling Stephanie. I showed that video I was working on.
Say, kalneek. I told on myself.
I sure did. I'm bragging over here.
Okay.
Shaktlek. Yeah. Daxanik. Ǩatwóosʼ. Ishan kel. Kel ǩatwóosʼ. Ishan ka. Neek. What's the news? Kel ǩatwóosʼ. It's news when man bites dog. Maybe we can make grammar more fun.
Yeah, wait, Kate Teen. What's Sebastian? Sebastian at Tina. Jeez, where? ḵusteeyí. Wait. Sebastian. Isikuke ʼaduwóosʼ. ʻaqaqatqoshi. Yaduha. ʼqull'acht. shilqasq. Kuch'eta ʼaduwóosʼ. Ta. Dutz'atitili ʼaduwóosʼ. ʼuqtuq'ewu. Atshi. Atqudziniq. Tz'iktin yanashich. Ye'awe, Sebastian. Dasawe yisikuge ḳull'acht. Klekaq'inach dasawe.
He hears something?
Here's something. Oh.
Or hears someone?
I think he's listening for something.
Oh, okay. Sh'ach.
Shilqasq. Dasawe klekaq'inach.
He's scratching himself.
Kuch'eta ʼaduwóosʼ. ʼaduwóosʼ.
His ball. Kuchika.
And what's he doing with the ball?
Biting it, mouthing it.
So yeah, the verb is on its own. There's an act verb for biting, with the back teeth. Ták is like the front teeth. Yíq is like biting with the back teeth.
Oh.
And then this is also a verb to carry something around in your mouth, which is usually a dog. A person could, you know, like, I don't know, you get your hands full and you very clean, but you carry it around in your mouth, whatever it is. I don't know. Ta.
Sleep.
Yep. We're going over this last night as saying that every single verb has to have a stem and a prefix, and this one does, but it's the unmarked, two unmarked things in a row, which is pretty unusual to just have a single syllable verb. Dut'atitili ʼaduwóosʼ.
He's biting his master's shoe.
Right.
Slipper.
Well, when we have the ut in front of it, he's carrying it around. So that is for, especially a dog, to carry something around its mouth. Although I suppose anything could. Like a cat. If a cat catches a mouse, she carries it around in her mouth and goes insane. Like, I don't know. ḳusteeyí.
Papers in his mouth.
Papers in his mouth. So this would be just like jiwu, but they would ḥiwu if it's again, keeps it in its mouth. So we think about them a little differently because they got no hands. Atshi.
He's singing.
He's singing. Tkudzeení.
He's searching for something?
Sniffing.
He's sniffing around.
Ah.
Sniffing around. Tsiktínyaneshi.
He's running with a plate in his mouth, or a dish in his mouth.
Which is probably what they named that frisbee. Although, like, if we really need, maybe it becomes like the plate you throw or something. But then we gotta figure out how you throw it. I think it would probably just bake. I think that's what it would do. Okay. 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 So anything else from stuff we talked about this evening before the lights go out on me for the 100th time? I tried throwing a pen. I thought I could throw a pen close enough to it. And it's just like, no, bruh. Staying off. So I just gotta get up. I don't know. I'll talk to right? Okay. So I'm gonna post that video that we watched of George Davis. I'm gonna make an Elon file out of it. If you have any problems, let me know. You don't have to use Elon, but I would like us to write down the Tlingit and then to translate it for the first 5 minutes. We'll probably take a look at it a week from now, but we'll just check in, see how everybody's doing. But that first 5 minutes, I want you to take a crack at this. I think folks who do the transcription and the translation stuff, their fluency, it really cranks up the fluency, especially when you deal with speakers who they're big time speakers. And so don't get discouraged because we'll go over it.
Which Kaxwaan Éesh?
It's that one that we just watched this evening.
What's it called?
It is called Words and Stories 03. Oh, yeah, what? Good. Itunditani. Yekwati. Akawe. Aktuchiniti. Akukayi. Kaikajit. Let's go. Cook wahalka, yeah. We eat cook.
I have a question. Doesn't have to do with anything you were talking about, but when I was doing my Tlingit sentences, and I was trying to say, we are the ones who play on the ocean. And then I read Kakachguk. The way he talked, who was it? A.P. Johnson? The way he talked, he didn't pluralize. I think it was Shiatika'a, the ones from Sitka. So he didn't pluralize. He didn't go like I did AAX apostrophe. He just went AA.
Yeah, so that could be the one or the ones. So as far as like how that one works, it's kind of it's a little bit different because it could be a singular or a plural, depending on how it's being used.
Okay. And then if I'm going to say big waves, teet plain, and waves big.
Teet klenk. So that one, so klein is big, and then klenk is biggins, big minis, bigs.
Teet plank.
Yeah.
Okay.
It jumps over and then it shortens the klein. Like,
Yeah, I've been really having a hard time trying to figure out how to put these things all together in the right way. And because once you put an adjective on a noun, I was writing teet, clink, and then I was getting confused on my CHs. And like, okay. Ha Shagun Shkasnik, our ancestors telling a story. Do you just go Ha Shagun?
Yep.
And no X apostrophe?
Yeah, that one is also just automatically plural. Same with Hashu.
And if I was going to go just fun from waves, instead of teet, it would be teet X underline, just fun from waves. Teet chaskasagu away.
You might like fun, like the waves. I might say teet ajidachawe kausaku.
Teet ajidach. See, I got the sentence out of the dictionary. This is a sentence I got out of the Tlingit verb dictionary. Chaskasagu hatuasagu nuch. All we want is to have fun. And if I change that to all we want is to have fun from waves, how do you say that?
Well, you might say, so from waves, like I would probably, like if we go to the verb dictionary and we look up, let me move, I gotta move. So we're gonna go look up teet as a verb root, because we might end up with a verb for something like this. So here's tea, whole bunch of those, teen, teet. So you have rolling in the swell. And so this might be the verb that we kind of want, like, because what we're talking about, being out on the water and rolling around on the waves. And it literally means to be waving up and down, like be on the waves. So we're gonna go look at roll in the swell and see what comes up in here. So a whole bunch of rolls, like rolling a spherical object, generally rolling a boat. And this is rocking a boat. And then we get yak yakakanishtit. So here the boat is really rolling in the swell. But there's another one. So we're going to go look at, I got to open up something different. Hold on. Because there's another one where I saw this. And this was in Susie James when she's telling of the Raven stories. She had another one that might be something that we end up with from here. So let me switch to this one. I don't know when this book's going to come out. But we're going to go down to Susie James, and it's right towards the end of this story. So she says, well, this is Raven talking to his mother. So this is a different kind, like you're just gonna be floating in a wave. So you can have ḳusteeyí, which would be really going up and down in the swells. So that's really sort of like pretty big waves. And then this one I would think of as just sort of a little bit more gentle, because the world's gonna flood. His mother gets into this duck and he says, it's such a beautiful part of the story. Like, you're just gonna be riding the waves on the world. Nothing's gonna happen. Nothing bad's gonna happen to you. And these words are important to me because when my mom was really kind of on her way out with cancer and it was affecting her brain, I would call her and I would just say this to her over and over. So it was always a really important, because it's Raven and his mom, he takes care of his mama. But so like that's those two sort of, those ones might work, because so you could say, if you're really talking about being out, and so again we'll go back to this one, we'll go back to looking it up by Tlingit, and we scroll down to teet, and we see this is they're both state verbs. So if you said all we want to do is roll in the swell, like get out on a boat and get into the big waves, that's what you're talking about. ʼaduwóosʼ at ḥakáxwaan. That's what I would probably say.
At ḥakáxwaan. ʼaduwóosʼ. What again?
At ḥakáxwaan. So it becomes a relational phrase, but that means we're just going around riding the big swells. That would work for surfers too, I think. We're ḳusteeyí is what we call at ḳusteeyí for a surfboard. We're in Yakutat and we're watching people surf, and I was asking speakers about it. But just sort of thinking about, I think your story was really talking about that, right? Like getting out on those big waves and rolling around in a yacht.
Well, I was trying to say that the Tlingit language is really challenging, and it's difficult, it's hard, it's wet, it's like the ocean, blah blah blah. And but we also enjoy it. We surf on it and stuff. It was like a metaphor, but like I was saying, to say that at ḥakáxwaan, that surfboard.
It was at kaka. What do we call it? káxwaan.
At cacao.
káxwaan.
And that was from that verb you were showing on the screen there?
Yeah.
Káxwaan.
Sometimes I would say that phrase just tlingitani kat iguchlatit. And some speakers would try to correct me to guchlahash, but it's because I think that the wave verb isn't being used as much. And so I think it's something, because, you know, I don't correct people when they correct me, but in my mind I was thinking, well, Susie James said it, and that's talking from the mountaintop. So, but you could also.
And then you're talking about a verb that had yak in the front of it of the verb phrase.
Oh yeah, yeah. You can put yak in as a noun, as a thematic prefix. I'll have to.
Yeah, I've seen that, and it was confusing. And then they only use one a.
Yeah, because things, yeah, when things go in there, they tend to really contract. Like it's a ek. That's the finger when it goes in there. So things usually contract when wak. Like you can have a single a for an I, wak. That could be put in there. Goosh will become gush. So we're trying to make gush datan as texting. Chish achjit gish datani. Or it should be gushi datani. But you could also say ti klank awe hajita wa ti kasaku. The big waves give us fun. And that's fun as a noun. And these things are neat. Once you start getting into metaphor, you can really start to roam around in those waves too. And so you end up with 4 or 5 different options in terms of how to say things. Which is fun too, because it becomes a lot less about right and wrong and more about just exploring different ways to convey things in the language. And then just thinking about those various differences. So when I hear something like iguchlatit and then kakaut yakakanaltit, and I look at those examples and I think about them, it's like one is just like real light regular waves, and you're just kind of going in there. But when you have the tit, it's because one of them is the surface, which is the water, and the other one is comparative. So it's saying these waves are really sort of moving from where the water should be typically.
So can we, instead of like using yak, shortened to yak, could we make short verbs like that? Or are those, you can only, is that, in a verb phrase, can we use any noun in the shortened abbreviated form to create a verb like they did when they made boat rolling on the ocean or on the waves? Is that what's going on there? They were just creating verbs with their
we
preverb?
don't really know all of the things that you can put in there because we keep finding kind of new ones now and then. I think putting yak into a verb is pretty rare. And I think that because like when I saw it, I was like, whoa, is that what they're doing? I'll try and find some examples of where I've seen that. Because I think there's one in this, well, yak yikka, that's not really a verb. But it shortens also in compound nouns, like ʼaduwóosʼ. That's yak plus day. ʼaduwóosʼ. There's a whole bunch of those. It's just a canoe trail. It's a place where you can bring your canoe up and down from the water. So most communities had a ʼaduwóosʼ and a ḳathini, like those, and gunhini. Those were like 3 things that were usually around Tlingit village on the coast. Was a canoe trail, a sockeye stream, and the spring water.
Is that like what they call it, canoe haul out?
Yep. So you see a bunch of those. When you look at the place name book, you see a bunch of them. The light made me work really hard for that one. I was doing cartwheels and everything. You should have seen it. It's amazing. Backflips.
ʻaduwóosʼ ʻaduwóosʼ.
Oh, Ishan, it's already over. Straight from the raven's mouth. Oh yeah, I'm like, cool. That's awesome. You want to see this awesome story I just did? Yeah, okay. Well, it's better. I had a friend, and well, I got two stories. We'll end with this. Like doing these Zoom calls, and everything's on Zoom now. It used to be when we had faculty meetings, like there'd only be a couple people on the phone. And someone I worked with, they said they were on the phone. There's only two people who called into the meeting. And one's on the phone, and he's listening, and then all of a sudden everybody hears the other person. They took the phone to the bathroom and didn't hit mute, and you could hear them peeing into the water. And he just, the other one felt like saying, "That's not me." He couldn't get himself to do it. And then the other one is in Fairbanks, they call the classes, the Indigenous Studies classes, rural development. So sometimes they call them RD for short. And one of her students was called in, this friend of mine, and she forgot to mute her phone. You hear this knock on the door, and you hear someone come in, and then you hear him say, "Oh, I didn't know you were in class." She says, "Oh, it's okay, it's just RD." She didn't realize. Unmuted, so we haven't had anything like that happen yet, so feel pretty good.
Yeah, that was still pretty embarrassing though. I like spent the whole day trying to fix all the pitches of the different voices, and I wanted her to see it so bad that I'm like, check it out. All on this.
Yeah, no, he's still going on and on. Yeah, he's still. Oh, yeah. Oops.
Oh, one time there was like some kind of really important. They had brought a canoe from Yakutat to Hawaii, and it was really neat to watch it come in. But there was a point where I don't know, just a thought jumped in my head, and I was trying to think of this really bad. I won't say it while we're recording. I was trying to think of this really bad word that you could translate into Tlingit, and I was saying, "Oh yeah, I think this is how you'd say it." It started with ḳa. I'll just give you that. And then people say it all the time. I don't think they literally mean it, but I was staying as someone that I just mess around with a lot, and so and I was like, "Yeah, I think that's how you'd say it." Yeah, and they said they're live streaming on Facebook right next to your face. I'll tell you when we're not recording. We'll do true confessions. Yeah, okay, Johan. And sheesh. It's good to laugh because sometimes we're going to do some pretty tough stuff. So I know talking about residential schools and boarding schools is really tough stuff. Missing our elders and stuff is really difficult. And then just sometimes struggling to just say things that we want to say is difficult. So because of that, I think it's fun to just laugh sometimes and just do things in the language that are just fun. And we're also lonesome for just getting together. In December, there's talk of an immersion here on the coast. It would be fun to sort of talk about some other options about safely gathering. You know, sometimes vaccinated or unvaccinated becomes an issue. But if we can safely gather and maybe even bring speakers in, you know, and if we can ever get to the end of this pandemic, although some of the stuff I was listening to last night, people calling into like the state legislature and saying it's all a big scam. The dog, it didn't make any sense. So
Didn't make any sense.
but
No.
you know, we could still figure some stuff out. I think it'd be good to be in the same space sometimes. I think it'd be good to get past some of these things and to also start some of the, traveling immersion camps and some other ideas on stuff that we can do. So it's not all through Zoom, and we can just sit there in the same room and do stuff and and come up with a bunch of stuff and have speakers there and talk to them. But I appreciate you guys so much and the work that you put into this and the ways you share your language and you just keep trying and you just keep putting it together. I think it's just incredible work, and it's fun that we can have a class where we spend most of the time in Tlingit, and that's been a goal of mine for years and years, especially when I heard in Hawaii, they said after the third semester, we don't do English at all. It's like, oh man, we'll get there, maybe like 10 years from now. The goal is just to look back. I want us to just look back and just say, remember how hard it was to just leave English behind? It's not hard at all now. It's the goal. So, all right. Kanshish. Yewushkach Twistin. Kaikiki. Kanshish. Okay.
Cheers.
Goodness, cheese.
Merci.
Cheers.
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 Ochune. I'll wait till. You so